Hey guys, Guys in the Magic back again, and it's time to go through part 2 of the Card Market Watch, where we do a deep dive into the Splinterlands Marketplace. So we're going to start, of course, with Alpha, and these are the Alpha Common cards. By the way, today is January 19th, 2025. And as you can see here, we've got just 5 cards out of the 20 that are under $1 for Alpha for the common cards. You can see here we've got anywhere from teens up to 27 copies, 29. So for Alpha, this is actually a decent amount of most of the commons. You can see some of them are in low supply, like the Wolf and Flesh Golem are under 10. But there are your Alpha common cards. Moving on to the rares. So the rares start out at $1.46 all the way up to $19.80 for Medusa, where there's only 6 copies. You can see the prices here in the liquidity. Let's just take a quick look at the summoners just to see where they're priced at. So you've got Tyrus at $1.61, Malric at $2.48, Liliana at $2.49, Alric at $3.12, and Zintar at $4.20. But look at the numbers that are available on the marketplace, 7, 9, 15. So like for Alric, let's see if any of these are maxed. So there are a couple of high-level cards. There is one maxed, one almost maxed. So you could get maybe, what, maybe 3 max cards out of the entire market. Zintar, we have 2 max copies, couple level 6s. So there are a couple available on the marketplace, but not very many. You can see the amount in circulation. We have just over 2,000 to 2,600 in circulation. Then moving on to the Epic Alpha cards. There are 10 in the set. Let it load the graphics so we can get an accurate picture here. Okay. How many are on the marketplace? So anywhere from, looks like 3 to 4, all the way up to 12 for the Fire Demon. So once again, very low liquidity. Just over 1,000 of these printed that are in circulation. 1,000 to about 1,100 of the Epic cards. And then finally, your legendaries. Now there are 9 legendaries in the set, in the base set, not including the 1 promo card. So 7 of the 9 are available for sale. Going from Lord of Darkness at $16.79 up to the Chromatic Dragon at $59.39. As you can see, very low circulation. 2 of them aren't even on the market. You know, single copy, 2, 3, 4. So very, very low liquidity for the legendary cards. And then looking at the gold foils for the commons, there are 20 commons, and they are all at least 1 copy available on the marketplace. We have 3 of them that are under $20, the Skeleton Assassin, the Animated Corpse, and the Divine Healer. After that, they push $20 plus. You can see the low liquidity for these gold foil commons, you know, what, under 10 or less for all of them. Some of them only single copies, so that's why some of them are very, very pricey. But yep, amongst the rarest of the rare, you know, these are commons, and you can see there's only like 300 or 400 total that are in circulation. Moving to the rares, now you get to single copy at $40, and then you start pushing 66, 75, so they quickly hit 100 plus. 14 available out of the 20 rare cards, so not even all of them are represented here. Up to when you get some of the single copies, you know, you're looking at over $2,000. Let's look at the summoners. So 4 of the 5 summoners are represented here. This, I think, is extremely underpriced when you compare it to the other ones. So Zintar under $100 for a gold foil alpha summoner seems extremely low, you know, compared to some of the other ones. And this is the only one listed available for sale. So you would think if there's only one for sale, you know, they would list it pretty high, you know, like at 1,000 plus. So for me, this is a very, very, you know, not financial advice, but this is a very, very tempting buy right here. Okay, moving on to epics. So 6 out of the, 10 epics are available for sale right now, going from $250 for the Naga Warrior up to over $2,700 for Serpent of the Flame. All single copies, just 2 copies of Defender of the Truth and Naga Warrior. And then finally, your legendary cards. The new addition this week is the Elemental Phoenix that had been listed a month or two ago for 155,000. It disappeared last month, so I thought, okay, that they just take it down. I knew it wouldn't sell at that price. It's back up. I thought, well, maybe they put it on land, but it's 155,000. They're not going to sell it, so I'm not sure why they don't just go ahead. Let's see who this person is. ABOU 26. I don't know why they don't just put it on a land plot, get some use out of it. And there's your Lord of Darkness at 2450. Okay, so let's look now for alpha at the promo cards. So your promo cards, you had one of each rarity. The Dragon Whelp, as I mentioned in part 1, had been selling around $8 or listed at $8. Now it's down to $437. Nebsini at 13. Royal Dragon Archer at 200 and Shinlo at 533. And then your gold foil versions, I thought it was kind of funny that the common card is priced so much higher than the rare. But the Dragon Whelp is $9.99 and then Neb is sitting at $59. So those are your alpha cards. So now looking at beta, let's just look at core and reward cards to start. And I mentioned in part 1, usually the top row of cards, the cheapest beta commons, are usually in that 3 to 4 cent range. So you can see here, there's one card at 5 cents, 2 at 7, 2 at 8, and then 1 at 9, and then you're 10 cents plus. So a lot of the beta common cards, and some of these are the reward cards. Let's see which ones are reward. So some of the reward cards that have been, moving up in price. Just the core cards even. I mean, look at this, beta core, 2 cards under 10 cents. So these are the cards you would get out of opening a beta pack. So commons have been moving up. But they range from 5 cents all the way to, actually let's go a little bit slower so we can get a good picture of the cards, see the pricing, see how many are in circulation. Because I want this kind of to be a record going forward so we can look back years ahead and say, okay, what were card prices back then? How many were in circulation? How many were actually listed for sale? Key cards like the chicken, 37 cents, there's almost 26,000 in circulation. Divine Healer, 40 cents. Oh, let's go by rarity. So there's commons. Okay, 5 cents. Down to 45 cents for the Feral Spirit. So those are your beta, common, core, and reward cards. Looking at rares, now you're getting 22, 23 cents for the cheapest rares. All the way up to $2.55 for Ulrich. Now I had picked up a couple copies of Ulrich under $2, so he was under $2 for a couple of months. Now the floor is at $2.55, and a lot of the summoners have been moving up in price as well. Like I remember Tyrus and all that; these were under $1. These two, and these two I think were like in the 40-ish, 30-ish, 40-ish cent range. I have to go back and watch the videos, but yeah, a lot of these summoners have been trending up. Part of it might be, getting ready for survival mode where people need to low up on summoners. But, there are cheaper options for summoners available as we get into some of the other sets. Okay, looking at epic cards. So now for your beta epics, you're looking at 64, 67 cents for the floor for epics. You can see the amount in circulation here. The reason there's such a big difference, I believe, is because some of these are reward cards. So reward cards, you're in the anywhere from 5,000 up to like 8,000 range for your reward cards. If you look at just the core, now you're down around anywhere from 1,500 to 2,000 for each card. So that's why there's such a difference in some of the circulating cards. But as far as number available for sale, it looks like other than the Mana Core, you're like 20 some copies or less for most of these. So there's not a lot of these available for sale. Okay, and then finally, if you look at your legendary cards, so your beta legendaries, you're looking at just under $4 for the Black Dragon and Chromatic Dragon, all the way up to $64.99 for Voldemort. This is actually a copy that I'm looking to sell, so I have one up for sale. And it actually is cheaper than the max level ones, at least per BCX. So those are your legendary cards. So now if you look at your gold foil commons, like I said in part one, just under $2 is the floor for some of these. You get some good cards like Creeping Ooze at 210. I think that's a good deal. The Cube at 243. There's some other nice ones. Cobalt Miner is a good card, 450. Crustacean King. So you've got a lot of good gold foil commons or common cards you can get under $5. And even the Flesh Golem is sitting there at under $8 at $7.82. Your Beta Gold Foil Rares, which will include your Summoners. You're looking at just under $8 for the floor for a rare. Take a look at these. And then at the end, we're going to sort by just the Summoners so we can get a look at Summoner price. So there's one Prismatic Energy up for sale, so that's why they have it listed so high at $342. Just looking at the Summoner price, you're looking at $9 for the cheapest gold Summoner, up to $18.39 for Malric. Alright, so now let's move on to gold epics. So your gold epics, you're looking at just over $30 for Divine Sorceress, all the way to $500 for Talia Firestorm. And then finally, the gold foil legendary beta cards. $300 is the cheapest for Lord Arianis, all the way to $77,777 for a single copy of the Spirit Miner. So as you can see, a lot of these top end cards, most of them, there's only a single copy available on the marketplace. All of these are, under 80 or less total in circulation. So these are extremely hard to pull. You can see here, that's why they have such high prices. So not many of any of these on the marketplace. Okay, since we're right here at beta, let's look at beta promo cards. As I mentioned in part one, Delwyn, which had been selling for $1 plus per BCX for the last few months, and this has changed just in the last few minutes. Person has listed some for actually 27 cents. So there was 28 cents was the cheapest earlier in the day. Now there's some for 27, a lot for 38. So if you're interested in picking up a common dragon summoner for survival mode, now's the time to pick these up. The rest of these prices have pretty much been the same over the last few months. The rare right around 50 cents, $2 for the epic, 16 for the red dragon, and then Arius and Prince Julian are the same price that they were 2 weeks ago. And then for your gold foils, gold foil Delwyn at $5. Pretty good price. That's the only one. And then you're looking a single copy at just under 12. Then you start getting pricey. You start getting 16 per BCX plus. So unless you want to shell out $180 for a max level one, we were paying under $5 BCX per. If you just want one copy, that's a great deal right there at $5. I expect that to be gone pretty soon. And then your Dragling Bowman, your rare, is sitting there at $43.65. Okay, now let's move on to Orb. So this is the entire Orb set, so you can see it just in one screen. So your commons, 8 cents to 29. Your rares, I mentioned in part one, have been moving up in price. So these had been, 25 to 35 cent cards. The Bard is now up to 55 cents, along with the Electric Eel. The Archer is sitting there at $1.05 for a single BCX. So I'm not sure why these three have really moved up, but just wanted to bring that to everyone's attention. The Wizard and the Healer, $1.19 for the Wizard, $2.45 for the Healer. And then these are pretty much right around the same price. The Warlord at $5, Lord of Fire's right around 10, and then Pegasus is sitting at 13. So not a whole lot of change there. Look at the gold foil. 9 out of the 12 are available in gold foil. Let it load so you can see the correct pictures. There we go. So the commons, $2 to $5.55. Your rares, $7.90, $11.89. The only epic available, $79 for the Wizard. And then 2 out of the 3 legendaries are available for sale. $6.66 for the Warlord, and then $9.90 for the Corrupted Pegasus. So that is it for Orb. Let's go to Untamed. Look at the Corn reward cards. So of course, the commons start at a penny and go all the way to your top card, which is usually the Failed Summoner. He's right near the top at 18 cents. Parasitic Growth is sitting there at 20 cents. Your rares, and some of these have moved up in price as well. You know, your floor is still 5, 6, 7 cents for the cheaper ones, all the way up to, and this card has moved up. As you can see, it's the #1 rare card right now, Shield Bearer at 77 cents. Let's take a look at the summoner prices for the rares. 18 cents, 20 cents, 23. So a lot of these are still very good deals for survival mode. Bortus has moved up. He's the top rare summoner now at 50 cents. Moving to epics, you've got 19 cents for the Evangelist, all the way up to $1.75 for the Hero of Beyond. And then finally your legendary cards, $1.19, $1.57 are the floor for your legendary Untamed cards, all the way up to, I was surprised to see, I'm like, why is Chancius at $50? Of course, it's a multiple BCX, so it's a level 3. As you can see, single BCXs are usually under 10 bucks, so that is the case. It's just there are no single copies currently on the market, because I was surprised to see Chancius above Kitty. But as I mentioned in part 1, Kitty is sitting at 47. Jotun has been usually 30 to 40 bucks, so to see him at 28, that's pretty low right now. How many copies are that cheap? Just one. So if you're interested in picking up a Jotun, there's one for 28, one for 30, and then after that, this is about the prices I have seen him at, is right around 40. So there's 2 copies on the marketplace that I think are pretty good deals. And then other than Jotun, we've got Llama sitting at 27. So looks like there's 5 copies, 27 to 28 bucks, and then Llama jumps back up to 37. And then other key cards, I like looking at Cornelius. Wow, Cornelius under 6 bucks, that's a good deal. Kron sitting at just above 6. So those are your Untamed legendary cards. So now let's look at the gold foil versions. Your commons are usually right around 50 cents to start, all the way down to $3.35 for the Sandworm. Your rares, you're looking at just under 2 bucks for Luminous Eagle and the Ferryman, all the way to $5.65 for Drake of Arnak. Then your epic, you're looking at $11 for the Coral Wraith, all the way to $125 for Lobstradamus. And then finally your legendaries, $50 for Ancient Lich, up to $52.50 for the Scale Doctor.